Hi, my name is William, and I'm glad if you are listening to this audio archive. It means that I was able to send the data correctly. Sure, it was really hard to do that, but I did it. I was a 34-year-old man born in Houston. I was a person who threw his life away. Since I was 18, I had already started with drugs and alcohol. At 20, I lost my parents and became homeless. I lived on the streets, and then I moved to New York and its neighborhoods. During my days, I was begging and stealing other people's things. It was the only way to survive. One day, while I was sleeping on the street, a man came up and woke me. He had his hat over his eyes. He told me that from that moment on, I didn't have to worry. My life would change. Then he handed me a briefcase. He told me that the code to open it had been written on a piece of paper. Then he took the piece of paper out of his jacket and handed it to me. Then he got up and left. I stood still. This strange event had struck me. Then I opened the briefcase with the code the man gave me. Inside was a folder with instructions on it. To summarize, there was an address to a room that could have been mine. There were also the keys to the room. Then, under the folder, was $1,000 in cash. Then, in the text of the document, it was written that inside the room there would be a computer where I could work online and earn money for a business. They said they were going to pay the rent of the room initially. I was desperate, so I thought this would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning, and I decided to go immediately to the place of the address. The address led to a driveway in Brownsville, that is a residential neighborhood in eastern Brooklyn in New York City. When I arrived, I saw that it was a fairly uninhabited place. My room was on a landing of a very old apartment building. Nobody seemed to live there. Strange. I saw that the mailboxes were full of letters. No one had picked them up. My room was very small. There was a bed, a window, a computer, a folder, 3 Rubik's Cubes, an alarm clock where you could see the time, a bottle of water, and a basket. I was so tired that I lay on the bed. Finally, for years I hadn't touched a bed. I fell asleep immediately. When I woke up, I was confused. It was night. I didn't remember much of that morning. Outside, it was raining. I heard the sound of wind, heavy rain, and thunder. I could see the computer was on. It was written in big letters. Start survey? I was very confused at first, but I was also very curious. I sat at my desk and started the questions. The first question was if I had a nice day. I answered yes, after what had happened to me. The second question was whether I had many responsibilities. I said no, because I did nothing in life. Then the computer told me to look around for a moment. I began to have cold sweating. I looked behind me and out the window. There was no one. When I looked at the computer again, there was another question. Are you familiar with your surroundings? I said no. I didn't know anyone in that area. The following question asked if I knew where I was. I answered yes. I knew where I was. But it seemed like a dream. I had a strange feeling. At that moment, the alarm clock started to sound. I took a huge fright. I almost fell from the chair. I stopped the alarm clock and looked at the screen. Have you ever had a panic attack? The anxiety was getting stronger. No, I had never had a panic attack. But those circumstances and that question made me shiver. Do you find yourself questioning your existence? Yes, I was a person who wondered a lot about the existence and meaning of humans in the world. The computer asked me if I thought there was a God. I said no. I was an atheist. The next question was if I was answering these questions out of free will. I answered yes. Are you certain? This question surprised me. I was not commanded by anyone. I was not forced to answer in a certain way. I said yes. The computer then asked me if I felt comfortable in my room. I started to think that someone was stalking me or maybe trying to scare me. I answered no. When I read the next question, my heart started beating violently in my chest. If the lights went out, would you be scared? I couldn't believe it. It seemed like a joke to scare me. The moment I clicked the yes answer, the lights went out. In the dark, as a new question appeared on the monitor, I heard on my left the door opening. It was dark. I could only see the time on the alarm clock and the question on the screen. I concentrated and read the question. Have you ever wondered when you will die? At that moment, I wanted to escape from that room. But for some reason, I couldn't get up. I had stiff legs that didn't move. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't. I felt like my muscles were blocked. I said yes, and the lights went back on. I looked to my left and saw that the door was open. There was no one in the room. I started to feel cold. I started to get confused more and more. I continued with the questions. Have you cleaned off your desk lately? No. Open the folder on your desk. I opened the folder on my right. The computer asked me if I recognized the content. Yes, I recognized it. It was the document I found in the briefcase. The computer told me to throw it away. I was very confused. The next question was if I had internet access. Yes, I had it with my phone. It asked me if I had any enemies. No, I had no enemies. From that moment on, I began to be overcome by fear. Next question. If you suddenly went missing, would anybody come looking for you? No, no one would have come looking for me. Are you alone? Yes, I was alone, but these questions were scaring me too much. If you screamed, would anybody hear? I almost started crying. No, no one would hear. The building was empty and I couldn't even breathe. Do you know the person standing behind you? At that moment, I almost fainted. I turned slowly. Nothing. I looked towards the door. There was no one. I turned to the computer and saw a shadow hiding under the desk. I looked around under the desk. There was no one there. Maybe it was a hallucination? The computer repeated. Are you alone? Yes, I was alone. There was only me in the room. Relax. Take some time to relax. Are you relaxed? I answered, no. I was getting more and more agitated. The next question was whether my feelings were real and not programmed like a machine. I began to get lost in my mind. I didn't understand the point of all this. Of course, I was convinced that my feelings were real. Is there a meaning to life? Yes, I believed in the meaning of all things. Do you know who you are yet? Yes, I knew who I was. Do you know what is happening? No, I didn't know. If you were told the truth about your existence, would you deny it in hopes for a better answer? I said no. I wanted to know the truth. Then my name appeared on the screen. Now I knew that someone was watching me or controlling me. I was a prisoner. The next question was whether it was really me who answered the questions. And I said yes. If I could prove to you that you are not sentient, would you be shocked? I said yes. Then the computer asked me if I wanted to know the truth. When I answered yes, the screen said to look out my window. The space around me started to move, and I saw some writing in front of me saying, "None of it is real. I made this world. I made you. I've been trying to help you see for what it is, and now I have finally done it. I can finally set you free." What they did to me was give me the opportunity to realize that the human world doesn't exist. We are all programmed. We think we exist and think for ourselves by producing our feelings and ideas. Instead, we are all part of a controlled system. What I can say to the people who gave me the briefcase is, thank you. You have freed me from this unreal world. I am free now. I am fine. I live in another form. I live in true reality.